In this episode, I'm talking with Deborah J.Carter. Deborah is a fantastic jazz vocalist, originally from the US. She's been living in the Netherlands for many, many years. We traveled the world together. We did many concerts all over the planet. And in this episode, we're going to talk about travel tips for musicians and much more. So you recently went to Thailand, right?
Yes, I was doing a jazz seminar. It was wonderful. It was on the campus of the Rangsit University. I think it's one of the important jazz departments, universities with jazz departments in Thailand. Really great. I had 20 singers, and there were lots of musicians as well. I think there were enough to form 3 big bands.
Wow.
It was really great.
And did you perform as well? Like there was a teacher's concert?
Yes. Actually, the teachers had to perform 20 minutes every night. No pressure.
Oh, my God.
Just give all you got, 20 minutes. Actually, immediately after the afternoon classes, you had to jump on stage and do things. But it was fun. There were teachers from Japan, Taipei, Thailand itself, and from the US.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's really fabulous.
I love Thailand. I love Bangkok. I love Thailand.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Everything from the weather to the food, the people are great. Yeah.
It's safe. It's beautiful. It's fun.
And it's a nice experience working with students there as well. Always sweet.
Yeah.
Always sweet and happy to learn.
Yeah. And grateful that you're there. And yeah. I was at the Mahidol in late January, which is also a huge campus, little bit like on the outskirts of the city. Very nice.
Well,
very nice.
Rangsit is also actually it's almost in the city next to Bangkok.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's what an experience. I call it the other tourism.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So I thought that we would talk about the things, sort of like a list of things that we take into account when we are traveling like road musicians, which is a little bit different from, bringing a bathing suit, a good book, and a good sunscreen.
Yeah, that's true.
A bit different.
So how do you do this, Deborah? Because you're also a frequent traveler.
Well, besides there are general checklists, but what I like to do in this case is, especially if it's in a situation of cultural exchange, I like to travel with small gifts. And that's advice I learned from other people. And my gift of choice, weather permitting, is chocolate. Weather permitting, it depends, because I even brought chocolate with me to Thailand, and I had to sort of just small things in beautiful little packages, and chocolate keeps well. But in any case, I just brought a random number, like 4 or 5, knowing that I'd run into people who were going to be very nice and kind to me during my stay. And at the end of the stay, I enjoy giving them a nice little present.
And since you're based in the Netherlands, do you also bring cheese?
No, never. And quite often I'm going to Asia, and the understanding of cheese there, I think there are more people that like cheese there, but my sister-in-law's from Chengdu, and she doesn't get the whole cheese thing.
No,
fermented cow milk? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Thailand too. I was in Thailand you a couple of weeks ago, and cheese, it's hard to I mean, only in the big hotels they occasionally serve some cheese, but that's it. It's not in their culture.
But the chocolate goes a long, long way. It really does. I mean, as far as breaking the ice and making new friends, it's my absolute go-to. And chocolate coming from Holland or Belgium is very much welcome. I can even give chocolate to friends in Germany from Belgium and Holland. It's essentially like coffee, Every country has their specific type of coffee or specific types of coffee, and so it's not like one is better than the other. But I love to bring along the nicest ones I can, really good quality ones I can find in this area of Europe. Yeah.
That's great. That's a great advice because, to be honest, when it comes to gifts, I'm not. Maybe also because you're a woman, you're more conscious of these things. But as a man, I think I'm a little bit more like, well, let's just go and see what happens. But I will. I'm going to travel in a couple of days. I'll buy some chocolate.
Yeah, but I've collaborated with Japanese musicians, and they always bring presents for the musicians that they're working with. I don't know if that's it, because I lived in Japan for 3 years, and before that, I grew up in Hawaii, and with Japanese, Hawaiian, Filipino, Chinese schoolmates, and that habit of giving out presents in moments where you're expected to receive, like your birthday. My birthday, I like to give out presents. If I have a party, it's a nice time to give out presents, which is something I learned from working with Japanese.
Yeah. They're incredible with gifts.
Yeah,
it's true, and also how they wrap it up.
Yeah, the presentation is everything.
That's unbelievable. There,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every detail is taken care of. It looks beautiful, and you almost feel bad that you have to you have to tear it apart.
That I can't do. I count on the chocolate being well packaged, and but I have not taken. I've seen chocolate in a store that's very, very good, but the packaging is not so nice. I won't take it with me. It has to also look good visually. So I count on the manufacturer to come up with good presentation ideas.
Great tip. I'm going to do.
And actually, when you do take it to warm countries, you tell them, because it'll hold its form. But you tell them, put it in the refrigerator before you eat it. If you're going to open the box and attack it, it's just going to look like a smeared mess. But if you put it in the fridge, but it goes a long way. And I have to say, I go as a guest to sing with different combos and ensembles, and it's definitely an icebreaker for me to arrive. The diva's here, but as soon as I'm in the door, I'm giving gifts.
That's so smart.
It absolutely reverses the biases that they had established in their heads about who's coming.
Yeah. That's the same challenge I encounter. I want to be like them. Even when I go to a country where people invite, like Thailand, for instance, or especially Asia, to be honest, you kind of have to get equal with the people there.
Yes.
And this is a great way of doing that, just by immediately sharing a chocolate, because then, it makes you like a normal person rather than a kind of a diva or star, how they perceive you, which is uncomfortable. I find it very uncomfortable, because also if you want to bring out the best of people, especially when you play with local musicians, so to speak, if mostly they're nervous, and if you just make them feel comfortable, you also musically bring out the best out of them. So it's
well, another thing, one great show of cultural respect, I don't know if that's a term we can use, is I'm immediately asking them for keywords that I need to know. I will say, how do you say hello in your language? How do you say thank you? How do you say very good, excuse me, goodbye?
Does wonders.
Oh yes, and they're so happy to give you a mini class, and I'm standing there with my little notebook, writing it down and practicing it on. That's also a nice one of the first conversations. That's a really nice thing to do. And then when you perform, like at a concert hall, you just in front of the audience, you just say thank you in their language.
That's people It's
Yes.
amazing what it
Yeah.
does. It's for us. It's like a small gesture, but it goes a long way,
It
actually.
really does.
Yeah,
It really does.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's amazing. And so maybe to elaborate a little bit more on local, like let's say the locals, also with music. How do you deal with this?
Well, I think you've done that a lot more than I have. Quite often, I've traveled with either my own music or band members from Europe. But when it's a mixture, it's absolutely to stay open,
Yeah,
because what you will have is new fusions of sounds around you that will make you come up with new ideas,
exactly.
and of course,
Yeah,
for me in performance in jazz, coming up with new ideas each time is a
yeah,
gold mine to find situations where I'll have to hear the song and react to the music from a distant perspective. It's just has me just glowing.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
But you do travel with very open mind, open heart, willing to receive any new ideas. You're not necessarily, don't think of yourself as a sort of the great mentor ambassador. It's more just be an open vessel to the ideas that are being brought to you
Yeah.
from a different culture. Yeah.
And what I also do is, in my experience, when you do like these fusions, like crossovers with traditional music, indigenous, you name it, all these terms. In my experience, you've got two kinds of musicians. The ones it's like some of them can only play their thing or sing their thing because they're so rooted in the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I was in Bolivia and I met this pan flute player,
Oh.
yeah,
Wow.
and really like on a 4,000 meter, I was like, gasping for air there, grasping for it was and this guy was so eager to learn jazz, and I thought, well, he wants to do the Bolivian Andean pan flute sound, and I will just respect him. And he said to me, no, I want you to play jazz chords. And he had effects and,
Hey.
that was wonderful. And then we were improvising and, and we brought the music all over the place, and that's a lot of fun. But but if people really only can play their thing, that which makes them comfortable, I will never impose my music or try to take them out of their comfort zone. I just respect it, and I'll try to create something beautiful around them. But they stick to their thing. So
you did that very well. I mean, I've heard your recordings and your performances from musicians from every single corner of the planet. It's incredible, and I see what you mean. You are actually multi-sensorial, which means you have a gigantic and invisible antenna on top of your head.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about respect, about curiosity.
Yeah.
Like you said, you want to be a vessel and just receive, because all this music has actually, especially all these kind of projects, have really changed my playing. And
I can imagine. My goodness.
Yeah. And still, when I go to a certain country, a new country, after all these countries, over 100 now, I'm still excited. Like, wow, what's like a child, and still curious and all of that.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing to do, and I'm very grateful. And also, in my case, what comes in handy. Really handy is that I've got perfect pitch. So when someone plays something or sings something, I already hear the key there or whatever, and then that enables me to be kind of fast with picking up their music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 That
I
comes.
didn't know that about you, or maybe I did and I forgot. Yeah, that's definitely great. But even so, to do it the way you're doing it, I mean, you know your whole life, and so
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you, in comparison to others who have perfect pitch, your multi-sensory skills are very on a high. And actually, it also serves you well even out in the street, intuiting how is the vibe around you, what's going to happen, because quite often it's not about the language that you don't understand 100% anyway, but there's a lot there's a lot of there are a lot of ways that you can just flow with the people you're with, like where are we going, where we eat, because you can just intuit what's going on. My intuition button tends to be, my intuition dial is at a 10 when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I do enjoy a glass of wine now and then, but when I'm traveling alone, no drinking, because it crumples my antenna.
Ah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a lot less intuitive when I've relaxed into a glass of bubbly. So I don't do it.
Yeah.
But that intuition, I mean, it's the same. It's almost from the same part of the brain. When you're really in the flow with the musicians in performance, but also off stage as well.
Yeah, especially if you sometimes realize, when you're collaborating with people, whether it's your own band or
Yeah.
with people from other countries, whatever, it's like 90% of the time you're not on stage.
Yeah.
Huh?
Exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
even 95. I
Yeah.
mean, the thing of being on stage is such a small part of the whole thing.
It
The
absolutely is.
traveling, the rehearsals, the social things, going out for
Connecting,
dinner.
yes,
Yeah,
connecting
yeah,
before you get on stage.
yeah.
So it's optimum performance. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And also, what I still do was I love nature and scenery. Whenever I get a chance to maybe stay 1 or 2 days longer, I'll do it and explore the country. And
Yes.
because of the energy. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
there's so much beautiful nature everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is something. Every country, every region has its own energy, its own beauty, and that's also, yeah. So you get like a little more. I don't know. I think it makes more like, how can I say this? Like a complete thing,
Yes.
rather than just performing music together.
You do that very well. Yeah. Booking the extra days. I remember when I was with you in Kyrgyzstan, and we had a great time and playing. And then I get on the plane, and just a few hours later, I see a picture of you on Facebook standing on the side of a mountain with an eagle on your arm. I'm like, I cannot leave you
Yes.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes, Mike. Can't
Yeah.
leave you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. Yeah, it's true. I
You
just
headed toward the mountains.
yeah,
Yeah.
I booked a taxi and a guide, and
Yeah.
and I just went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny that you
Yeah,
remember this.
I have to just make more space in my calendar for just staying extra. I do it now and then, but I could do it more often. And yeah, I have you as an example
Yeah, yeah.
of
Just
that.
just do it. I mean, what's 1 or 2 days extra? Which you don't go there every day. So because when you're there, you think like, I'll be back soon.
Yeah, I was
You
thinking,
know?
oh, I have to come back and
Yeah,
camp and
yeah,
stay in
yeah.
a yurt and rent some
Yeah,
horses.
yeah, yeah.
No, never, it hasn't happened.
And I won't change the money because I'll be back at some point, and then all
Yeah.
these, all these notes are sitting around in your house, and
Yeah, we have the Bank of Carter, the
yeah.
International Bank of Carter upstairs.
Exactly.
All of
Yeah,
these
yeah,
coins and bills, yeah, from
yeah,
other countries.
yeah. So it's yeah, yeah, yeah. So no,
The
now's the moment, huh, when you're there.
And I have to say something about adventure, because there's and these things I'm talking to you about today are basically also conversations or advice that was asked from me by younger musicians who want to just go away. Just get out of wherever they are and just see the world after their studies, or just if they're studying, or just go somewhere. But the thought that you have to be brave to do it. And I have to say that it's not necessarily courage, the virtue that's needed for you to just jump into an adventure. Curiosity will take you to the most amazing adventures. Curiosity.
Yeah.
And it's super, in my world, it supersedes bravery. And the bravery sort of builds itself little by little while I'm curiously following along a new trail. And so I always say, you don't think that you have to be brave to do this, that, and the other. Sometimes you only have to be curious.
Yeah.
But be smart, have confidence that you have the tools to get you out of any complicated situations along your adventure, and keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, keep your brain open. But curiosity is a very underrated virtue as far as, going out to see the world.
So true. So true. It depends a little bit on the country. Sometimes I do take my precautions. Like, that's also why, again, the locals, hook up with the locals. That's that's a golden rule when you travel.
Yes.
In many, we can explore about this more, but like in terms of safety, you ask the locals, is it safe to go here? Is it safe to go there? People know.
You do.
And, and in Brazil, during daytime, it's pretty safe. But in the evening, I would take a taxi or ask a local person, an Uber.
Ubers are safer than the taxis.
Yeah, true. Because it's very true. Uber is great for this, especially for us, being in a strange country. Yeah.
And I have to say, speaking of traveling as musicians, it's easy to hook up with the local musicians. As a musician, it's very easy to hook up with the locals.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. It's almost automatic.
Yeah. And, and also like performing with local musicians has so many benefits. I mean, I got criticized many times, like, Mike, you're always traveling to other places, and then you pick up local musicians and you play with them. And, what about your band sound, your own, and this is such a different, it's absolutely not true. Because if I, for instance, go to Brazil or South Africa, let's say South Africa, I know so many wonderful musicians there. And everywhere now, the level is so high because of internet, and it's not like
absolutely,
and you hook up with the local rhythm section. Let's say a bass player and a drummer, and the drummer has also his African roots. You send your music, and I had many times that these musicians made my tunes, which I've been playing for a while, made them sound fresh again. Yeah, because you put it in the hands of great people. They incorporate their heritage, their culture, and the music sounds wonderful and so inspiring. And I'm flying there, and there are so many benefits to that, And then also, like financially, it has a lot of. And I mean, not like how can I say that? Like if you travel by yourself,
yes,
the local musician, they bring their instruments. You don't need to provide a hotel, so you can pay them a little bit more, and you probably end up making some more money when you go home. That's another, because if you always want to travel with your own people, that's great. But sometimes, especially now with flying costs and all the costs, hotels.
Yes, yeah. I was just reading an article this morning in the Far Out magazine. Online magazine about touring musicians who just can't tour anymore because it's not financially doable. Yeah. We have a little bit of help from the Dutch government, but for some it's not really. But as far as criticism, what about your band sound? Band sound should not be the only criteria of of a musician getting a band sound. I mean, if you have the opportunity to travel the world and work with many different musicians and create music and even record, you're in a unique position.
Yeah.
And the other criteria that's for what to do if you want to stay in the box.
Yeah.
Number one, get a
Yeah.
band sound.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
This we know. There's the list of what to do if you want to stay in the box. I can say in my sleep, and quite often I avoid it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just am. I'm so grateful. Feel so privileged that I partly created it myself, but still, it happens, and I'm so grateful for that. And
yeah, sometimes it starts with the first gigs, and then you learn how to connect, how to have a very vibrant network, it just builds and builds. Because I know you built it from brick by brick.
Yeah.
You don't open an app and suddenly there's the Mike del Ferro network. You really did it one person at a time.
Yeah, it's really amazing, because we're recording this now, and I'm going to Argentina and Brazil in a couple of days, and I got invited by a jazz festival in the south of Brazil, but it's so far away. Yeah, and I thought, well, let me just check my my contact list, and who do I know in Brazil? I know so many people there. Now I end up playing like 19 concerts there because I just, and that's something, of course, all these people I know, that's something I, over the years, like you said, brick by brick, I got to know all these people, but now it's incredibly easy, and I'm traveling in 3 days from now, and still concerts are coming in. I actually have to put a stop to it. Otherwise I'll be playing every day and I'll be never at home.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing how this. And
quite often we're working and traveling with musicians who are traveling themselves. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like almost like the way a virus works. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, a good virus.
A good virus, the music virus. That it spreads because the one person you're passing your knowledge of yourself onto is going on to somewhere else and meeting 10 other people, and it's just spreading, and so part of your network is spreading on its own while you're just sitting and talking.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, it's a big snowball effect. Yeah.
Except the snowball is going not in a linear direction; it's going in at 360-degree directions all at the same time.
Yeah. They will take you to the best restaurants,
Yes.
You go to
ask.
you go to a dodgy place, with terrible seats and no lighting, and you have the greatest food, maybe in the outskirts of the city. They know everything. Another great thing is the social media. These like local musicians, which is a terrible word. We should say friends or colleagues.
Yeah.
Local musicians sounds terrible actually.
Yeah.
But they will post stuff, tag you. So you get a lot of new followers, but also audience shows up because they're sometimes, of course, more known than you are in a certain place.
Yes.
And that's also an incredible, such a great way to meet new people. And, they'll invite their friends, whatever. So there's so many benefits to. I
also bring up social media when I'm talking to any young musicians, students, whatever, who, once again, they just want to go as far away as possible. I had one student that wanted to just go to Thailand for indefinite amount of weeks, maybe meet some. I said immediately hook up with local musicians, find out who's who. But I told her, most of the time it's her, I told her months before you go, you can already be hooking up with musicians in the place that you're going. I had another one who wanted to go to London. You can already be hooking up with musicians in London. There are also musicians groups. They're specialized groups of female jazz flautists of Bangkok. You can find these groups and get online and talk, so that once you get to your destination where you don't know how long you'll stay, you just know you just want to be there and learn things and live for a while and work for a while if possible. Once you get there, if you've already had social media contact with a few people, there will be at least one or two people that you can have a coffee or a tea with, that you can meet for coffee or tea, and they can give you some tips.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about the social media, is that you can already have it all set up with just a couple of new friends. Not have it all set up, but it won't be completely unfamiliar territory. And besides all that, there's a lot of research about the country that you're going to. There's a lot of research you can already do online, because there's some local customs that perhaps if there's something that you do, it may not rub well with the people there. You have to actually get a general idea of what is seen as good. But for example, eating in Taipei, sticking your chopsticks in the rice and just leaving it there. That's sort of, I think it's for funerals. It's not seen as a polite thing to do it at a table. And pointing at the moon, I remember being on stage in Taipei. There were like 2,000 or 3,000 people in the crowd, but there's a beautiful full moon above, and I pointed at the moon. That's bad luck.
And you did it in front of so many. Oh my God.
I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember that, like, pointing your foot in Thailand towards someone is like the biggest offense.
Yeah. Just they're small things, and it's not like 100 customs, but there are 10 top tips for travelers going to Baku, going to Azerbaijan, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
For women, there are certain places where you have to cover up.
Yeah.
You and I went to Saudi Arabia, and I was head to toe wrapped up in black every day, even to go down to the lobby to get a hot milk. And it's okay. I'm open to it. I'm understanding it, and I wanted the Saudi Arabian experience.
In 45 degrees Celsius.
Ooh, yes.
We remember that.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, that was,
yes.
Wow. Yeah. Then you realize the endurance there, especially the women. Oh my God. Yeah, that's.
The men were wearing white light cotton.
Yeah. But it's true. It's good to like go online before you go to a certain place and about the local customs.
There's a lot of information online.
Yeah, that's
after the corona quarantine, there's even more than before, because people who were just bored were uploading very valuable information about everything. Actually, if you want to buy a piece of land and build a house, there's enough information on what we call the YouTube University.
Yeah.
For if you wanted to build your own house from the bottom up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible.
So of course there's travel information, travel hacks, packing hacks.
Yeah,
we're talking basically about going as musicians, but the general travel tips can be found. There are even books that are called travel hacks, travel tips, and it's best to inform yourself. You'll have a better experience.
Yeah, and what I also do, I have a checklist.
Ah, yes.
A checklist. Yes. And that's, maybe you go like a checklist. That's not very interesting. But, it's a wonderful feeling when you leave your house, going to the airport, that you go like, okay, everything is covered.
Yes.
And I'm not talking, whether it's a toothbrush or maybe like a microphone to record a podcast in a hotel room.
Yes.
In my case, as a pianist, and when I have to play on a keyboard, I always bring my own sustain pedal. Because sometimes Because they provide a keyboard.
Yeah.
If there is no piano, and then they forget to bring a sustain pedal. Happens so often.
Yeah.
And then there is a technical thing. There are, depending on the brand, there's a little switch because it will sustain, or it's the other way around. When you press
Yeah.
it, it will
Yes.
not sustain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but I write everything down.
Yes. I have one taped to my closet door
Yeah.
inside. Yes.
Yeah. And, even, and also stupid things like underwear.
Yeah.
It can be anything, but now
It's-
the checklist is quite comprehensive, but it really
Yes.
makes me, it really gives me a peace of mind.
It does. It does.
And
Yeah.
and it's I think it's also a good tip for traveling musicians.
Yes.
It's just even to be honest, I've divided the checklist in two parts. It's the actual traveling thing, if you're going to be abroad for a while,
Yeah.
but also next to that, I also have one for the gigs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Whether I play here in the Netherlands, where I live, or where you live,
Yes.
but also
Yeah.
whether I'm there, because wherever I am, I have a B list, so to speak, with other stuff. Yeah, which I bring to the gig. Like sometimes you would forget CDs or flyers, or
Oh, yeah. That. Yes.
because
Yes.
you're so writing down stuff for me is key.
Yes.
Because it puts you, it gives you peace of mind, and you can forget about it in the moment and only
Exactly.
access the information when you need it.
It's not occupying space in your brain.
No.
It's in the exterior, and you can just yes.
Yeah, whenever you need
Absolutely.
it, which also makes you focus better on your music and other stuff. But this constant feeling in the back of your mind, like, oh, I still have to do this, or did I bring this, or and the checklist covers everything. So
Yes.
it's really a great thing to do. It's really
Yes.
something I advise musicians to do. Anyone who
Yeah.
travels, but
Absolutely.
also in terms
Absolutely.
of gear and stuff, it's really good
Yeah.
also for musicians to.
That's one of the top things that's listed as far as travel tips. They
Yeah.
always say the list is very important.
Yeah.
Which includes medicines. Your paracetamols, your mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
Yes, those things very, very important. They don't seem important when you're sort of at home in your comfortable little abode, but in the middle of the night, that mosquito is playing a concert in your ear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what works really well against mosquito bites? Tiger balm.
Oh.
And it also keeps them away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll write
And when you
that
have a
down.
sting, add some tiger balm. Yeah, and that's really really
and the tiger
wonderful.
balms they come in such cute little things that they don't occupy a lot of space.
Exactly.
They're good for everything. If you hurt a joint as well, I'm really going to keep that on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think we had a conversation once about foods where you travel to.
Oh yeah. That's a bit.
That goes along the lines of staying open. I mean, that doesn't mean that if you're a vegetarian, yes, have some dog barbecue, but staying open to what is being offered locally is a very good idea.
Yeah, I'll try anything.
It's enriching.
Yeah.
It's part of, cultural enlightenment. What I find great about the internet is that anything that I'm eating that I really like, I can write down the name, later come home, look it up on YouTube, and look at somebody cooking it in their kitchen. I love that. Yeah. That's a thing I started doing just a few years ago. But yes, what is the oddest thing that you've eaten, Mike?
Yeah. Or where do you draw the line?
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
I mean, last time I was in a night market in Taipei, I said, well, I could maybe do barbecued scorpion. I couldn't find any, not find any, but I would have sort of been open to it, just a nibble.
Yeah. And also in Taipei, I was once at a night market where they killed a turtle. And the way and I don't want to go into details, but that was... Then I go like, I would never eat it. Just the way they treat those animals was horrible.
Yeah. You're right.
And I also draw the line, like in Japan, they once served me a dish where the fish in this case was still alive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm very open. I'll try anything, but
Yeah. Yeah,
that
they
for
also
me,
have that in Taiwan. Yeah.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
for me was that I couldn't do. Other
Yeah.
than that, I will go pretty far, but that was a little bit too much for me to eat. Put something in your mouth which is still alive. You know, that's
Yeah.
I found that a little bit too much.
I sort of draw the line anyway on raw food. So I mean, if the explanation of the still alive fish is that well, it's extra fresh. I don't even like it fresh. So extra fresh is going to do nothing for me.
No. Yeah.
But I want to share a tip from my mother-in-law, because, you know, going to different countries, the bacterial flora in your body is accustomed to even the way water tastes from the faucet of your house or where you are living, bottled water. It is compatible with your bacterial flora. It's used to it. And so you could travel somewhere where the water or the other food elements are perfectly fine. I mean, it's not killing the people who are living there, the locals who are living there, but it's not really compatible with your own bacterial flora. That's the cause of quite a lot of cases, very disturbed intestines, and very intestinal problems with a lot of travelers. My mother-in-law had recommended as soon as possible and as often as possible to eat papaya, because it contains enzymes that are constantly restabilizing your bacterial flora. So whether it's safe, whether my internal organs are feeling okay with what I'm consuming locally, I'm still piling up on papaya in the morning.
That's wow.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's delicious.
Yes. I mean, you can also travel with a probiotic, but the papaya is the complete package. It's not extract of papaya. It's all of the elements and the vitamins, but also the enzymes that are contained in papaya. Yeah.
What a great tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're traveling somewhere that doesn't have papaya, just probiotics, because that's what the function of the papaya is.
Yeah.
It was a really good tip. That time I was with you in Myanmar, my system did not agree with the slow. Most of the cuisine there was slow cooked. I mean, that had been cooked for several hours, and maybe it was also from the day before. My organisms were not agreeing with it after a while.
I remember.
Really,
you were not feeling too well.
We were sharing our Imodium.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the papaya helped. You know, the breakfast buffet was really helpful in that sense. Yeah.
Great tip.
Yeah.
Great tip. But it's, on the other hand, of course, we're talking about dangers in food, but it's the same like being curious and open-minded. You know, I've tasted so many incredible things all over the planet. It's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know? And local dishes and it's also kind of a gut feeling, right? Literally.
Yes. Yeah.
you go like,
literally.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. A feeling before you know, how does it smell? And and it's okay if the place, it looks a little bit shabby, because some of those places have the best food. But if dirty, you have to think. Yeah. But you know, if you're there if you're being brought there by someone, they're a little bit more careful where they're taking you, just because you're visiting from outside. Let's tell the truth. You know, it's if someone's coming to my town, I maybe won't take them to the place where I'm just standing up at a counter having a coffee. I'll take them to a place that can give them a good impression of, you know, where they are.
Again, hook up with the locals, you know?
Yeah, the locals.
I think that's still for traveling. I mean, we're talking about a lot of great stuff here, but you know, I think that's still the golden rule.
It is.
You know?
It is.
really, because that's
And it's especially easy being a musician. That's the thing.
yeah. And also, not only to avoid cost, but also like, you probably also have been in a situation, you bring your own band, which is great. It's your people you love, you're comfortable with, and all of that.
Or I travel alone. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you are like, you arrive somewhere and you go into a hotel, and then you have a day off or even a night off or whatever, and nobody knows what the city.
Yeah.
And what do?
Yeah.
You go, you probably end up in a tourist trap eating bad food, or
exactly.
Stuff like that. And
if you want the richer experience,
again, hook up with the locals. It's a wonderful thing to do.
Because here's something interesting, and this is a development of a part of my persona that I noticed in the past years from traveling, and anyone I've talked to has agreed with that for themselves for traveling. You can make some very interesting, fast and deep friendships. I mean, the connection that you can make with a stranger can be quite. It is you can do it quickly and be under the surface quickly. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But I can be in the middle of an environment 24 hours after I've landed and just feel almost like they're old friends.
Yeah.
So there's a connection, and I know you definitely do that. But other people who have traveled a lot say, yeah, that's right. It's just so it's a comfortable feeling. You're the more you're there, the less you're thinking, oh, I'm amongst strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, people ask me a lot. You'll get the same question. What's your favorite country?
Oh, yeah.
I find that it's so hard to answer that one.
Yeah.
Because I basically feel great everywhere, especially again when you hook up with the people there.
Yeah.
I feel good everywhere. I mean, some cities might be a little bit more attractive than others.
Yeah.
More or less pollution. I don't know. Whatever. Better food here. I don't know. There are so many things, but
there are so many things.
But on the other hand, I basically feel okay everywhere I go.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, Brazil is the greatest country in the world because of the music and the
although
people.
The locals will tell you that their country is the greatest. You have to say, yes, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, don't start arguing about that one.
No.
Yeah, and Argentina even, well, I don't want to say worse, but they're really into... let me put it polite. The Argentinians, they love their country.
Yes,
that's There's also a lot of Argentinians. They have a Italian surname.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Yeah. So there is this joke like this Argentinian guy's walking in Rome, and he walks around. He said, "Oh," and he sees all the Italian names, and he goes like, "Oh, there are a lot of Argentinians here in Italy."
How funny.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's also, I mean, look, another thing I find interesting, we're here in the Netherlands, and we're surrounded by Dutch people all the time. I mean, you've been living here for so many years.
Yes.
And then you're let's say you're in Africa, and in a really totally different culture. And then you meet someone from the Netherlands, then you start connecting.
Yes. Yeah, you do. At least to some extent, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Americans, if I run into Americans.
In your case, Americans, yeah. That's and then you kind of because why I'm saying this is because after all, you have got some stuff to share. Because your own culture.
Yes.
And it's also. And I'm also proud of stuff here in the Netherlands, I must say.
Yes.
I mean, look at Amsterdam, our city, how beautiful that is. I'm kind of proud of the more I travel, the more I appreciate Amsterdam. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I find it so. For me, it's a wonderful place to come back to. My home base, marvelous. Of course, I live in Hoorn now.
Yeah, which is also this beautiful, gorgeous.
Way better.
Way better than Amsterdam.
Best city in the whole country.
Hoorn is Hoorn is the place to be in the Netherlands.
The place to be.
Yeah. No, but you see, so we're also proud of where we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without even noticing. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I do good promo for Hoorn.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I had a wonderful time talking
Me
to you.
too.
And
Me too, Mike.
I'm looking forward to...
I wish you all the best with all of your concerts in Argentina and Brazil, and I'm sure there'll be some wonderful posts to look at on social media.
I'm looking forward to record other episodes with you.
Oh, me too, Mike.
We got so much stuff to share, We're
Yes,
both
we do.
travelers and
Yeah.
we've been all over the planet and we met so many wonderful people and we've created a lot of great music together.
Yes, we have.
Without being modest here, but we have done
Yes.
some really nice stuff. Huh? So let's record more episodes. Maybe we can talk more about specific countries where we've been to. Like
Yes.
like we say, like Burma or Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan,
I mean,
yes.
Yes. Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.